Well, hello, hi everyone. My name is Matthew Childers, and this is a little process video that I put together for just to kind of show you, how I do things. I did this kind of for the Red Sonja Cover Contest. This is the artwork from that. Um, the contest, I think, just recently ran, and I wasn't even sure if I was eligible for it, considering I had just done a story for Army of Darkness, and this is the story that I did. Was Army of Darkness 1992.1. If you see it, pick it up. It's a great, little story. But I wanted to, to at least experiment and have fun with doing the cover contest, even if I wasn't eligible. So, anyway, I'm going to do a little about me. I'm a comic book artist. I do work for Adventures in Pulp. That's my web comic that I do. I also do work for anybody that would hire me. So, with that being said, let me kind of get into this little tutorial. Let's clear off some of these windows first. Again, this contest was open to everyone, that was eligible. I'm not sure if I was, but I wanted to have fun and do a Red Sonja picture anyway, because she's fun to draw. This here is a little Instagram photo I took of the original pencils. I don't have the original pencils, mainly because I usually ink over my pencils. I do, I have to do a lot of my own inking, coloring, and lettering and whatnot. So in this case, this is really all I had left. But I kind of wanted to show, generally what it was looking like. And with this piece in particular, I didn't have a whole lot of time to spend doing a lot of thumbnails and thinking about the story for the cover, which incidentally I did not win the contest. There were a lot of great pieces entered, so you guys should check that out. It's on Dynamite's Instagram page and Red Sonja official Instagram. That being said, I still had a lot of fun with this, and again, I didn't have a lot of time to get prepared for it and come up with a really great story for the cover, because a lot of times stories, the covers need to tell a story unto themselves. But a lot of times they're just really cool images, so that's kind of what I went for. I wanted to do something that had a lot of emotion, and I wanted her gesture and her facial expressions to feel like she's really in the midst of a fierce battle here, and she's not being lazy. She's really putting her emotion into this. So I did some sketching, came up with a gesture and kind of a facial expressions that I felt really hit the the attitude that I was going for. Okay, so I went ahead and put the inks up. These are the inks. I did my inks for this. Not the standard 10, 11 by, or 10 by 15. I did these at 6 and 6.25 by 10 and a quarter, which is smaller than standard. But I kind of did that speed my process up. I'm just trying some new things, and having smaller inks let me not over ink, which I have a tendency to do. I have a tendency to put too many shadows and try to put too many details that are unnecessary. And I really wanted this piece to have the color kind of shine through. And since she's female, she doesn't need a lot of extra, I guess, detail on her body, because the nice smooth curves and whatnot. One of those to kind of shine through. If it was doing a male form, I'd want to have a lot more, angles and shadows and things like that, to put the drama of it. But with this one, I wanted the color to kind of really shine through. So it's a lot more open than what I'm used to. And then, I usually, before I start inking, I try to have like a nice neutral color border, something, so when I see my colors up against neutral, it really helps me kind of see it as the way they're kind of going to really show up. So That's my first step. Um, and then, of course, with anything we do our flats. Now, with this one, let me turn this mask off. All right, these are my flats. They're a little bit different than what you would normally expect. I usually try to start with local colors and fill in, but then I adjust, um, and adjust to a certain shadow. Uh, for instance, in this piece, I wanted her hair to really stand out. So her hair is a really vibrant red, and I didn't add any shadows or any adjustments to it. I just kept it a straight, pure red, as well as her lips. Um, but everything else, I really pushed to one degree or another, and one of the things I always look at is like she's out. She's going to be outside in this piece, and with a nice yellow sun or a bright yellow light or whatever, I always feel like the shadows are going to be kind of the opposite of that. So I pushed blue or purple in her shadows, and my flats tend to be, uh, that shadow color, or at least for this one it is. A lot of times I may have the flat local colors and keep it. With this one I didn't, but I really pushed those kind of darker purples and stuff, and because I feel like that gives a lot more mood to the piece. Um, so then the next thing that I did is I use a mask, uh, which you can just select all and hit the little mask button over here, and I go in with my brush tool, and I brush out things that I don't want to mask. Well, actually, before I do that, I create a separate flat layer that's just a lightened version of the flats, especially on the body here, and then I guess the cape. I wanted a lighter version, so when I mask out from my flats, as you can see here, uh, we get that lighter color showing through. So those are our highlights. And I usually use, I have a Wacom tablet, and I use, just a brush to kind of brush in those highlights. And the beauty of that is that, if I don't like it, I can delete that mask and add another mask and start over, and I've not lost my originals. So using a mask is one of my favorite things to do when I'm doing my shadows and stuff. But as you can see, I've really kind of stressed. I would like this little area here, this metal, and I wanted there to be a nice sheen to kind of give it, a bit of a different texture to than some of the other, parts for, like her skin and this leather here. I didn't want it to have the same kind of texture. So I knew I was going to do like a nice sheen here. So I wanted this to be kind of the focal point for where the light hits her. So it's coming in from this side and from this side, and that's a nice warm light. So the next thing I did is I do want to add volume to this piece too. So I wanted to add volume here to her hair. So as you can see, I have another, what I did with this one is I added a layer just on the hair of a darker, tone. And then I went in with another mask and added it, and basically it's almost like deleting out those parts. And it helped add that nice little hair texture. So it gave it volume and made it feel more, like it had some, weight to it. So then, again, adding more volume. Here's the weight to the cape. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on the cape because really, when it comes down to it, as you'll see in this here, I add a gradient to the cape. So I really just want to kind of darken that up. I don't want that to be important because you're going to have your logo up here, and I wanted her to be the focal point. And let me see if I got my. And as you can see, no, I don't have it, but I really kind of wanted her lips and her teeth area and this facial expression to kind of line up with the 1/3 rule. So you get this nice, this little intersect here, that's a great focal point. So that focal point is right there on her face. So that's kind of why I did that, and I really wanted to de-emphasize this area. And plus, I've also got this kind of nice little, motion here that's kind of leading down to her face and everything. So let's see, adding more modeling. I'll go in with a lighter shadow. This is just with the brush, and I add in some shadow, or I sometimes also use the lasso tool and kind of add my modeling that way as well. But I go in and add just a nice little subtle hint of modeling to the body here, just to give it some more weight. So you've got some darker, and you've got a mid-tone, and you've got your highlights. And that's really what kind of gives you the nice weight. And then I go in again, add a little more highlight. I wanted this arm right here to have a nice warm highlight, because you've got such a cool overall tone, and I want something warm here to kind of give us a nice little area there. And then again, to make this separate a little, be a different little texture, I added some, almost pure white here. Let's see, some details to the eyes. I always leave those for last for some reason. They always seem to be on a separate layer. And then I go back again and add a few little white details here to her eyes, which let's see if we can, see right there. And on her lips right here, those little whites are really going to stand out in the finished piece. And so right here, I did a little bit of a J.J. Abrams lens flare. I wanted to have, but again, this surface is a lot more highly reflective than anything else on her body, and I really wanted that to stand out. Let's see. So the next step was going in and adding a background. I kind of start out with, let's go with this. This is just as kind of a general color gradient, which that greens really kind of contrast a little bit up against the red in her hair. And the purples and greens and blues are a nice, contrast to this red. So that's exactly why I chose that kind of color palette. And even this kind of yellowish green here kind of fits in there too. But it wasn't good enough yet, so I added a little texture. I threw in a nice kind of painted watercolor texture, and I was kind of happy with that. But I still wanted to go a little further. I wanted to put her in a place, and I should have drawn something in. That would have been the best thing to do. But again, I was rushing this piece a little bit at the beginning, and it kind of bit me at the end. But found a nice photograph of some trees just to lay in the background. I mean, to me, the background is important if it plays a part in the story. In this one, she's more of the story than the background, so I really wasn't as worried about using a digital background. I don't particularly like doing that, but with this piece, it's okay to kind of push it back, and let her be the star. So then to kind of really push this, sheen in this little area here, I put a nice gradient in the background to really kind of let that light, there's the light source and it's bouncing, this light here is bouncing off of that. So that gave us the Red Sonja image. So that's kind of the way I do things. Again, I like to contrast my colors, with the light from the sky, and using whatever I want to be the focal point. Be this nice intense red through here and here on her lips, and everything else is meant to kind of, contrast that and let that be a big focal point. So with that, we're kind of done. Hopefully this has been a little informative. I'll let you see this a little bit bigger. But hopefully you had a decent little video here. It was a nice little piece. You can see it on my website at MatthewChilders.com. And if you guys want to see me do anything else, just give me an email and let me know some things that you'd like to see. I'm all good for, trying other tutorials. This is my first video tutorial. So hopefully, you enjoyed it. And don't forget to, if you see the Army of Darkness book, pick that up. There's some great stories in there, some good art, and don't forget to read adventuresinpulp.com. We'd love to have you. Thank you much.